Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode today of the PeaBrain podcast, episode 6. We've got a couple of good, conversations we're going to talk about today in today's episode. If you enjoy it, feel free to drop a like. As always, feel free to hit the subscribe button, and thank you for the support on this podcast stuff at the moment. You guys have been amazing. I apologize if it's been a little bit too long since the last one. I've been very, very busy just uploading other content, but we're back. It's just me today, but do not worry. Next episode, I'll be sure to contact one of the people that commented on the community post I talked about the other day regarding who would like to hop onto the podcast. So, don't worry about that. We will get a special guest in for next time. So, starting off on today's PeaBrain podcast episode, we are going to be talking about a very, very interesting event that is coming up. Now, I have done a video about it. A lot of people have been asking me, Kirst, when are you next playing Garden Warfare 2? Can you play Garden Warfare 2 on Saturdays? Can you play it on Sundays? I'm going to tell you right now, I will not be playing Garden Warfare 2 until the 3rd of November. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering why the 3rd of November. Well, believe it or not, another Fiesta event is happening around that day. So for those who don't know what the Fiesta event is, it's basically where a bunch of different content creators and different Garden Warfare players, such as yourself, such as me, log on for the day and have a good time. We basically just play online with a bunch of different people and, just have a good time and enjoy ourselves on Garden Warfare 2. So, believe it or not, there is another one happening on the 3rd of November. That is the Sunday, I believe. And I will be streaming on the Sunday. So feel free to keep asking me when I'm going to play Garden Warfare 2. Now you know when I'm going to play it. The 3rd of November for the Fiesta event. Now, obviously, we have spoke about the Fiesta event a lot before regarding the previous one. Obviously, you lot know by now what I thought about the first one that Deggy did. And Twilight Chomper Enthusiast has also spoke about this as well. I have done a video about it, so I don't want to go too much into detail, so feel free to go check out the video I did. But I'm excited for it. It's the first time I'm going to be participating in a Garden Warfare 2 event. And I think it's going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be fun to try and see how many people actually log on, try and see how many people that actually want to take part. Even if it's just like a couple of people, I still think it's going to be enjoyable. I'm purposely not playing Garden Warfare 2, so when I play the event on the 3rd of November, I'm not burnt out already. So that is the whole reason why I'm not playing Garden Warfare 2 at the moment, is to try and keep myself away from the game as much as possible. And then when it comes to the event on the 3rd of November, I want to try and enjoy it as much as possible. Now, whether we'll be playing Turf Takeover, Team Vanquish, or Mixed Mode, I don't know. Probably a little bit of everything, as we normally do, because a lot of people like to mix it up. A lot of people tend to get bored of, just playing the same game mode for hours and hours on end. And don't get me wrong, it does get super, super long when you sit there and play Turf all the time. I think we're going to be playing all kinds of different game modes and having a good time, etc., etc. So that is the first question that a lot of people have been asking me regarding Garden Warfare 2, is when I'm going to play it. 3rd of November, ladies and gentlemen, that is when I'm going to play it. So, moving on here, we have some big news today regarding Plants vs. Zombies in general. Plants vs. Zombies 3 is being shut down for maintenance once again. I know, it's the 3rd time now they have done this, and take from it as you will. It could be a good thing, it could be a very bad thing. They have released an article, regarding PVZ 3 online. I read it myself the other day, and they basically said, look, the game is nowhere near where we want it to be. We want it to be as best as it can be, as good as it can be, and as fun as possible for, different players worldwide. And so they went on to talk about how they're going to try and improve the game, how they're going to try and keep it relevant compared to PVZ2 as well. And we have spoke about PVZ3 on the phone, on the PC, on the tablet a little bit before. For those who didn't play it, it was kind of like BFN, where it stepped outside of our comfort zone. And personally, I didn't mind PVZ3. I thought it looked interesting with the art style. The game was as close as it can be to the original tower defense side of things, and there wasn't too much I disagreed on. I just felt like the game wasn't fully finished, and clearly I was right. So yeah, PVZ3 has been shut down once again. I know a lot of people are going to be, oh, it doesn't really matter, none of us play it, blah, blah, blah. But for the people who do, it is a bit of a bummer. This is the third time now this has happened to the game itself. And, it is good that they're doing this, because it allows them to take it a step back once more and to really try and understand the direction that they're going in with the game. Because, to be honest with you, I don't think EA or whoever's running PVZ3 even knows where they're going with the game. I feel like with PVZ2 there is a strict direction that they're heading in still. They know what updates they want to do next. They know what new plants they want to play and bring out. But with PVZ3, I don't know. It just feels like there is no direction in terms of that. So yeah, it's a hard one. I played a little bit of PVZ3. Again, I didn't really mind the game. I know a lot of you wanted to play it, check it out, but believe it or not, it was not actually available for a lot of people as well. I feel like it was only in certain countries. I barely got hold of the game because it was so flipping difficult to try and download on my computer. But moving forward, take a grain of salt from this. It could be being shut down forever. They might take it back to the drawing board and say, look, PVZ2 is clearly still working. PVZ3 is not where it's at. Let's be realistic here and get rid of the game. They could definitely do what they want with the game. I just feel like it does suck, because the game does deserve to have some sort of a lifeline. It does deserve to have some sort of shelf life. And, it's never good when a game gets taken back like 2 or 3 times to the drawing board, whether it's through different updates, different patches. Every game goes through it 100%. But, when it's not a game that has been successful, when it's a game that has kind of struggled to find its footing, like PVZ3, it's not great. It's not the best news you want to hear. It does get a little bit. It does get a little bit hairy of where they're going to go with this game and stuff like that. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see. With PVZ3, I think it's definitely going to be coming back at sometime soon. I've actually got the article up right here, so let's read over this. I'm going to quickly bring it up here. PVZ3 is shutting down, but it will be back. So here we go. PopCap Games is taking Plants vs. Zombies 3 offline for a major overhaul based on player feedback. The game will shut down on November 15th, and no return date confirmed yet. So that was a good couple weeks ago, but they only just released the article a couple of days ago. So existing players' coin balances will be carried over to the next version, but in-game progress will be erased. So PVZ3 is going offline soon, as developer PopCap Games plans to retool, in quotation marks, the game based on player feedback. Earlier in 2024, the EA-owned studio had soft-launched the latest Plants vs. Zombies entry on Android and iOS, which is obviously iPhone and stuff like that. So Plants vs. Zombies 3 has been in development at PopCap Games for several years now. The tower defense title has its first soft launch way back in 2020, and since then it has undergone significant changes while navigating its way through multiple testing phases. Most recently, the Plants vs. Zombies sequel had a limited release under the title Plants vs. Zombies 3 Welcome to Zomburbia, which is the other title that they went for, in January 2024. For players, including countries in Australia, Philippines, UK, and more. Testing period has also come to an end now, as the developer confirmed the process to take the game offline. Plants vs. Zombies team Plants vs. Zombies 3 team announced that it is taking the game down on November the 15th in order to give it a major overhaul. It thanked the fans for the feedback during the game's soft launch period, adding that it is onto something great and it shared the desire to go even further to make the game truly special. Given an outline of the schedule for taking Plants vs. Zombies 3 offline, PopCap Games revealed the game's download and in-app purchases have been blocked. Moreover, it stated that the game server support would end on November the 15th, rendering in all players that can't play the game. So, yeah, there we have it. November the 15th is when the game got shut down in terms of the servers. This article came out a couple of days ago, and yeah, it's interesting to read. There's a whole, conversation about it. They're just talking about different experiences with PVZ2 and what they want to try and, do with PVZ3. They go into a little bit of length here, and they say, while the new Plants vs. Zombies title has confirmed to go offline for feedback-orientated development, there is no word on its return date. So we don't have a return date for PVZ3. The American studio has simply promised its fans that it's even better than Plants vs. Zombies 3 experience would arrive, in quotation marks, soon, without giving any hints. It's worth nothing that, despite its scheduled shutdown, existing player coin balances will be carried over to the next version of the game, as long as their account is linked, blah, 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 blah. Despite not having a new mainline entry since 2019's... Mate, 2019... Battle for Neighborville came out in 2019. That's a long time ago. The popularity of the IP seems to still be strong. Case in point, here we go. This is very, very interesting information here regarding Garden Warfare 2. Case in point, the sudden resurgence of Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 Deluxe Edition on Steam during a recent sales promotion which shot up in its player count significantly. Even though there's no return date for PVZ3 Welcome to Zomburbia yet, players should find it less concerning that the game's status a year ago, when it had a little to no updates for prolonged period of time. So there we go. That is the article they wrote up about PVZ3, talking about PVZ2 a little bit in there as well, and of course Garden Warfare 2 at the end. So, with PVZ3 being shut down, it gives them an opportunity to step back, see what they want to do with the game. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's never going to come back. I reckon it will at some point when it's time for it to come back, and if they continue to see there is a fan base for Plants vs. Zombies in general. Because obviously with us on Garden Warfare 2, and for those who play BFN, and for those who play the other games and all of that stuff, they need to see the numbers. They need to see the progress. And I feel like with PVZ3 getting so much feedback, I think it's kind of good, because, it allows them to say, wait a minute, we didn't really expect this amount of people to give us feedback regarding this game. So, I feel like in a weird way it is going to help us as a community to understand which direction Plants vs. Zombies is going in terms of games. And, it can only, try and benefit us a little bit from making PVZ3 go back to the drawing board, get absolutely redone. Maybe, who knows, maybe they might do the same thing for a future game that we have not yet heard about. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But my point is, PVZ3 shutting down could be a good thing. it might help the community, it might help the developers see that there are, fans still out there, and it'll give them an idea of what to do next. So sticking with PVZ3 a little bit more here, I could picture them maybe redoing the art style, maybe redoing the entire story mode again, maybe adding more plants, adding new levels, adding new enemies. I don't know. When they say a huge new overhaul, it could mean anything. We'll have to wait and see. But who knows? Maybe once it somehow finds its footing, it could really start to shine. I've seen several games over the years that really struggled with their releases, and they have not done well at all. Another EA product that has gone through this a lot is Battlefield. I know Battlefield is not a mobile phone game, but Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 had the exact same issue. They were awful at launch. A lot of people really disliked it. It had to go back to the drawing board a couple times for both games, but they then became the best Battlefield games of all time because of that all. So, PvZ3, I'm not saying it could become the best of all time, but it could definitely become better and more fun for us as players. And, seeing that, it could really start to ignite that passion for the community and stuff like that again. So, I am not going to jump the gun here and say it's going to help Garden Warfare 2, because I don't think it will, but it's going to be good because it will allow the developers to see how many people still care about the franchise and how many people are still invested into the franchise as well. So, that is the news for Plants vs. Zombies 3. It is getting shut down once again, but it could be a good thing. We'll have to wait and see. So, moving forward here, believe it or not, there is some talk regarding me, once again, and Garden Warfare 2. A lot of people seem to reach out to me on Discord, on PlayStation, etc., etc., and talk to me about different ideas on how to make Garden Warfare 2 more fun and stuff like that. I've done a couple of videos regarding that. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but I'll throw a couple of ideas in this episode just in case if any of you are playing Garden Warfare 2 at the moment and you're kind of struggling to, find what you want to do. So, first of all is play new characters. Play new characters in Garden Warfare 2 or any of the other two games, Garden Warfare 1 and BFN. It's never a bad thing. Even if you do bad, you get, 8 kills to 15 deaths on a Team Vanquish game, I don't know. Or a turf takeover game or something like that. Play new characters. It keeps it fresh. It keeps it fun. And, it's never a bad idea to try out, zombies and plants that you've never really played before. It's never a bad idea. So always, keep playing new characters, keep playing characters that you've never really played before, because it allows you to branch out and it allows you to just, find that little bit more fun in the game itself. So that is the first tip I'm going to give you guys. Second tip of the question I am getting asked on how to make Garden Warfare 2 and the other games more fun is keep the game modes as different as possible. Now, this is a very simple one. I'm not expecting people to play Turf Takeover for 6 hours a day. I used to do that myself, and I tell you what, it is very, very stressful and very, very long as well. It does get to the point where you're like, oh, this map for the 12th time today, etc. So as soon as you get bored of a game mode, switch. And that is why I like mixed mode. It allows us to play Gnome Bomb. It allows us to play, all these different other game modes that we don't really get to play anymore because of the servers. And, I love mixed mode because, again, it allows us to play game modes that we just don't get to play as much anymore because there's not enough players playing those game modes. So always switch game modes. As soon as you are bored of Turf, what else is there? Even Team Vanquish. I know a lot of you don't play Team Vanquish, but always switch your game modes up to keep it, you know, fresh. And that includes, you know, Town Hall, that includes Capture the Taco. Heck, that might even include, you know, that might even include the story mode. If you're bored of multiplayer, go play some Garden Ops. You know, go play some story mode, or go play some of the pizza missions in the backyard battleground on Garden Warfare 2. I don't know. There's a lot of different things you can do to keep the game fresh and less boring for yourself. I think those are the two main tips I would have to give you guys in order to keep the game rolling and in order to keep the game fun for yourself. So my third tip here would have to be, you know, make the packs fun for yourself as well. So, you know, you could easily try and go for the best characters in the game straight away. There's no problem in doing that, but try and avoid character packs. Make it fun for when you unlock a character that you like. So, for example, go for Wondrous Packs of Greatness, and if let's say you unlock a character you enjoy playing, it's going to be a lot of fun for you to, you know, unlock a character you've been waiting so long to actually grab hold of. So I remember several times back in the day, and not just back in the day, but even when I played Garden Warfare 1 not too long ago, you know, when I finally unlocked Garden Warfare 1's version of Super Commando, I was super happy. And I didn't do that through character packs, as far as I remember. I could be wrong. But my point is, have fun with the packs, pick characters you don't normally play, and keep the game modes fresh as well. Try and learn the maps more, try and go in different areas, and try and play a different kind of game in order to make it fun for yourself. Those are my main tips for you guys. So, not to go off too much topic here, but we are back with BFN. I have obviously played BFN on PlayStation a lot. A couple of people have reached out to me. I've been playing a lot of my Nintendo Switch at the moment, and a couple of people have asked me, have I ever played BFN on the Switch? The answer is no. Now, the reason why for that, I have thought about it. I have thought about BFN on the Switch before. Believe it or not, I think it's the better version of the game compared to the Xbox version, PC, and PlayStation. It just seems better. The reason why I've not played it is because I've not really got round to it, and BFN is not one of those games that I go out of my way to play. It's definitely, you know, a little bit off the radar. And, you know, I've got other games I want to play at the moment, like Minecraft and Mario Party and et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, I would like to maybe once in the future give BFN a go on the Switch, because I know it's completely different compared to the console version. And, you know, I think it would be really, really fun to see how it would compare to the console version. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah. So BFN, it might come back on Nintendo Switch once or twice, but as an actual game I want to play, it won't be returning. I have spoke about BFN not returning before, so don't get any ideas for me playing Oak and Acorn once again. So moving forward here with Plants vs. Zombies as a whole, PVZ 2 is still getting updates, which is awesome. I'm really, really happy that this game is getting more updates still. I think it's definitely a game that deserves love, and it's going to be cool to see how this game, you know, continues to do well in its own way. Because obviously Plants vs. Zombies 2 is not the same as Plants vs. Zombies 3. It's definitely had a different kind of journey in terms of popularity, in terms of just, you know, a journey as a whole. And it's really, really cool to see that a game this size has continued to grow. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Speaking of new plants in PVZ2, the Doom Shroom is back in Plants vs. Zombies 2, believe it or not. It's actually back in PVZ2, and it does exactly what you would think it would do. Doom Shroom has always exploded, done major damage to the zombies, and it explodes when it touches the bigger shrooms, basically. And you can place down multiple doom shrooms, and then it explodes and does massive damage to zombies. And it also shares tiles as well. So, yeah, doom shroom is back, keeping notes on that. So very, very cool indeed. Another new plant in PVZ2 that is actually up and coming here is the Blaze Leaf. Blaze Leaf is a very interesting one. I don't know much about this one, to be honest. There's a lot of... this is a brand new plant entirely, and it is really, really cool to see. But it has a flame attack. It basically whirls its arms around. It does great damage against camel ceramics in the ancient Egypt levels. There's also a gap within the attack, so it won't release a flame wave, which is very, very interesting. Moving forward here, it does have some stats I want to talk about, the Blaze Leaf. Level 2 Blaze Leaf, it costs 175 sun. It recharges in 12 seconds, which isn't that great. Damage is 35, the wave damage is 55, and the warning damage is 300. So some pretty interesting stats there. It costs quite a lot, 175 for the Blaze Leaf right there. Level 3 though is where it gets interesting, believe it or not. It comes in handy when it goes to level 3. The recharge goes down. No, level 4 goes down to 11 seconds recharge, 45 damage, and 65 wave damage. And believe it or not, obviously it is a fire plant, so on levels like Frostbite Caves and anything else that involves ice zombies, it can obviously withdraw the effects of ice as well. And it's very, very similar to Pepper Pult. It's basically where you can overheat the plants around you and make sure they don't freeze in said levels. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for today's PVZ PeaBrain podcast episode. I hope you guys did enjoy. Don't forget to drop a like. Let me know in the comments what you think about anything that we have discussed here today. I do want to say a huge thank you for the support on this. You guys have been amazing. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new, and as always, check out all of the other content on the channel. So next time we will be getting a special guest on the episode. We're going to be inviting someone over to talk about their PVZ experience and having a great conversation over there. So thank you for listening. Thank you for clicking on the video. Be sure to stay safe, stay hydrated, keep on gaming, and I will see you fantastic people real soon for another episode.